In the last section, we started to run into a problem that we've seen once before inside this course. We made a change to the source code of one of our files, but that change was not immediately reflected inside the running container. In this section, we're going to figure out how we can somehow get this change to somewhat cleverly show up inside of that running Docker container without us having to stop it, rebuild the image, and then restart the container. So let's get to it. I want to first begin by giving you a quick reminder of how our Docker file is currently working. We first begin by copying over the package.json file. We then run npm install, and then most importantly, we run that copy command, which takes the public directory, the src directory, and everything else inside of here and copies them over into our working directory of /app. So just remember that for a second. All right. So I want to show you that same flow kind of in a diagram format. So like we just said, we get our package.json copied over, not reflected in this diagram. We install the dependencies, and then at some point in time, we make a copy of src and public, and we move those copies into that container. Remember that that is a temporary container that is created during the image building process. When we make these copies over here, we are essentially taking a snapshot of the contents of src and public. It's a snapshot that is locked in time and by default is not going to be updated anytime we make a change to this code. So in order to get these changes that we're making to files inside of src and public, we need to kind of abandon this approach of doing the straight copy. So rather than doing the straight copy, we're going to adjust the docker run command that we use to start up our running container. By adjusting this command, we're going to be making use of a feature included with Docker called volumes. So we're going to make use of a Docker volume. With the Docker volume, we essentially set up a placeholder of sorts inside of our Docker container. And so we're no longer going to copy over the entire src directory or the entire public directory. Instead, you can kind of imagine that we're going to put a sort of, that's not how you spell it,